Well, hello again to the Franky Vibe Podcast. This is episode number 5. And here in Amsterdam, it is very cold. We have the last maybe 2 weeks, I think it was, a lot of snow, which it was nice because I like snow. But it's also very freezing. You have to use a lot of clothes, I mean. So I'm waiting for the sun to come again, the temperature to rise again. And today I have with me a guest. He's a comedian and his name is Hermes Ahmadi. Hey, how's it going?
Great. It's not snowing today, so the public transport system actually worked. I mean, last week there was a centimeter of snow and the whole country was code red. Don't go outside.
It was crazy.
It's an emergency situation.
But it was nice also, right? Because it's nice to play with the snow, go out.
Yeah, I was free, so I don't have to go anywhere. I could just look out of the window and see how cold it is and have a nice warm cup of coffee and laugh at the people who are like, oh no, I have to take the tram. Oh no, the tram is not going. Society is collapsing.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you have to do one of those jobs that you have to work outside. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking like a security guard that has to stand outside. I don't know, somebody that has to clean or something and be outside. Those are tough jobs to do in the winter.
Yeah.
They should get paid more or something.
At least double. Because, if you only have to travel, you're out after that, you're inside, warm, heated environment. But if you have to work outside, I'm sure they probably took a day off for that time because you couldn't do anything. This country isn't prepared for a little bit of snow, even though it's pretty up north.
Yeah, pretty cool country.
Yeah.
Also, like right now, I'm working in a hotel, so I'm chill when it comes to the snow, to the cold. I can just be in the hotel.
Yeah, you can take a nap.
The tourists. Yeah, I shouldn't, otherwise I will get fired. But
you can say you're doing quality control on the bed,
on the sofas.
Yeah, let's see how soft it is.
Yeah. But I do sometimes feel a little bit like I sleepy because I work in the night shift.
Oh, yeah.
The night shifts are difficult to stay awake, but I try to sleep on the day and then work on the night. It affects a little bit your mind, you know, but
I can imagine.
Yeah, but I worked before doing delivery in the cold outside with Flink.
Yeah, those electric bikes.
Yeah, that was the first job.
They don't obey the laws of traffic or gravity or speed. I've seen them.
And it is hard. It's a hard job.
Yeah.
I did it for like 2 years that I was here. And then I stopped because I was having back problems, a lot of problems that it's not worth the money. So I just got another job.
Yeah, it's a night shift at the hotel. You get a lot of drunk Brit tourists, maybe. But other than that,
Yeah. So what do you do for living? Do you work as a comedian or that's like a side job? What is your situation right now?
Yeah, comedy and theater. So they do Dutch and English.
All right. So you feel comfortable with both languages?
Yes.
All right. So what is your background? Where do you came from? Were you born here? You were born outside?
Well, I was born in a what used to be called a small country back in the day. I think it's something with Soviet Union.
Whoa!
They're trying a Soviet reunion project they got running. It's supposed to take 3 days. Now I think it's year number 4. So I was born in what now is called Kazakhstan.
Wow. Yeah. And how was your uprising there? How was your life?
Oh, I have no idea because my parents, they're Afghan and they moved there during the Soviet war because they were like, hey, they won't find us if we go to Soviet Union. And I was born there, but then a couple of years later, they returned to Afghanistan. And there I did grow up until my 5th
Hmm.
And yeah, then the Taliban came, those
Oh.
nice guys with the cool beards and the machine guns. It's a lot of fun if you're a Taliban, but if you're not a Taliban, it really sucks ass to be there, especially if you have 3 children, which my parents had. So then we fled to all different countries, ended up in the Netherlands. We came here for the weather.
Yeah, the situation of Afghanistan is really crazy. You got these guys in power that are like extremists from Islam. According to what I know, I don't really know much. So, do you know more about that situation that you can explain?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't get those machine guns out of the desert, They didn't go simsalabim and there were suddenly rocket launchers. No, they were actually a little bit, it started mostly in the 80s when especially United States and Saudi Arabia, they were basically giving guns to the most extreme nut jobs to fight against the Soviets. And then those most extreme nut jobs decided to also fight against our democratic government that we had. Unfortunately, the guys with the guns that are the most nutty people in the world are also friggingly crazy, just like now with ICE in America, basically. So the Taliban is maybe just a couple of steps ahead from ICE, but they have the power of the government right now.
And so the government of USA give them guns.
Yeah.
And then they use those guns to fight the Russians.
Yeah.
But then they use that gun to do their own thing.
Yeah, because after the Russians were defeated, the Americans were like, oh, whatever, leave it be. And then you had different groups. You had the Mujahideen, but most of the people that got guns were usually in the neighboring country of Pakistan. Where Saudi Arabia opened, I don't want to call it Islamic because it's really ideological. It's not about religion. It's about power and indoctrination.
So it's like an excuse, the Islam title. Yeah. They don't really preach that.
Well, they preach something, but it's not like the most Muslims. I'm not religious myself, but I know a lot of people who are Jewish, Christian, or atheist or Muslim. But nobody practices religion that way. I mean, it's pure brainwashing, conditioning people to think it's okay to use violence against others.
And when it comes to, like, for example, traveling to Afghanistan, let's say somebody, a YouTuber, wants to go to Afghanistan and film the country. Obviously, is something that I wouldn't recommend to nobody.
Yeah.
Based on the situation, but is it allowed to go to the country?
I mean, for as far as you can get a clearance and a visa, you can enter and leave the country. But of course, it comes with a lot of risks because it's not only the Taliban is not as you would think of any regime. Like Iran, it's also a theocracy, but they have some rules, even though now it's a complete chaos there. But the Taliban, they are also bandits and robbers and just assholes. They also just go into people's houses to steal stuff. So you won't be like in a normal state protected from lawlessness because the actual regime is lawless, because they also when we lived we were already in the Netherlands, a bunch of Taliban just entered my grandfather's house, just kicking people around, taking all the stuff of any value.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So you won't be safe. If you're a government official, you can have that kind of protection, but if you're a YouTuber on your own, they might think, hey, let's kidnap them and ask their family in Italy or France or wherever for some ransom money. So that's also a risk.
Yeah. So probably not a very good idea to go to that country right now.
No, if you're Rambo, then have at it, But other than that, I would.
And especially if you're like women, gay, then it must be harder even.
Yeah, you will. Since last year, they even banned women from speaking in public because they're already covered in the burqa. and they're not allowed to go outside by themselves. But if you have an 11-year-old son, he can be your chaperone. Like then it's illegal because he's a man, but you can't go alone.
What is a chaperone?
A chaperone, like that the little guy is actually the boss that carries you around. So you're any male is allowed to walk freely, but a woman can't go outside by herself. But she can go if her 11-year-old or 9-year-old boy is there because he's the man, so he's in charge. He's in charge of his mother or whatever.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
For like our values, like I would say my European values, that's very weird.
Yeah.
We put like women in the same as men.
Ideally, but
it's not perfect.
No, I mean, if you would put women and men equally, then you're actually a feminist. But if you say that you're a feminist, everybody calls you a feminazi. And still, there's a lot of issues here as well. But no, of course, not as bad, not as extreme as in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I guess like even with nice causes, like for example, feminism, you can have extremes. I believe, at least. And some people might call others feminazi because they see like some extreme positions in the same way like religion, it tends to be good in general, but then people go to the extreme, and that is when people start saying, oh, okay, this guy is crazy, and they start calling them names. But I believe that feminism in generally is something good. But then it's just some people go radical about it, and they start like hating.
Other people also project their own hatred towards women by delegitimizing a movement.
Yeah.
Because, anybody who still has the guts to call themselves feminist, they really mean equality. But for somebody who enjoys oppression, equality means bad. Like... gay rights, gay people can get married. There are people who are like, yeah, but what about my marriage? Take it easy. Nobody's bothering. You can be unhappy with your wife as much as you want to be, but other people, like somebody else marrying doesn't ruin your wedding.
Of
right?
course.
Yeah.
And going back to Afghan, you told me this rule that is like a little bit crazy for my point of view, how I was raised. Are there more rules like that you can say, okay, this is not compatible with European values or crazy?
Or
like
liberal or democratic values. Well, of course, the whole, the anti-woman, anti-gay thing.
So I cannot go to...
It's different from European values, but American values are getting really near Taliban these days. I guess they should exchange numbers. I think they already have each other's phone numbers.
You're saying it because of ICE, right?
Because of the whole Trump administration regime.
Yeah.
They have crazy things like nobody, men or women, are allowed to sing and dance. So
we're talking about Afghan, right?
Afghanistan. In America, not yet. You can all not yet. No, in Afghanistan, you're not allowed to sing and dance. Of course, you're not allowed to take any substances whatsoever. So alcohol, weed,
nothing, not even like a beer.
Not even a beer, because it's all, of course, poison.
They call it haram, right?
Haram, yeah.
Haram.
And there are, countries near where it's allowed, but I think also in Iran it's banned to have alcohol. But in Iran, prostitution is kind of legal in a quirky way, because you have a government administrator at the entrance of, let's call it what it is, a brothel. Then you have to marry your lady of the night, and then you got married. Then it's okay, have fun at it, and then you file in the divorce papers. So it's legal, and as long as you marry the prostitute. That's Iran for you. So I don't know about Afghanistan, but I don't think they even come near to any pretense of legalizing stuff like that. But alcohol has been banned. I think even before might have been some periods where it was banned, but the Taliban has I don't even know what the punishment is, but they tend to be violent. So
yeah, I imagine
it's
the
not worth the
punishments are not
risk,
really nice, right?
And I think even pork is illegal. I do remember that when we were in Pakistan, my uncle, he said, "Hey guys, I've got some pork," and it felt like
cocaine,
like high school kids smoking weed in the gym class. But I remember he made some stew with it, and we were eating it, and it felt really illegal. But it was just pork. Like here, it's completely normal. But
something normal.
Yeah.
So I guess like if I go to Afghanistan, I cannot say, "Hey, my pronouns are they and hey," because they'll cut my throat.
Luckily, our language doesn't have he or she. We have a neutral one, so it's already you're safe.
You see,
everybody has the same pronouns.
They are progressive.
They're very progressive. Yeah. Also, for cross-dressing, you only have to wear one thing, and you're done. You just have to wear a burqa, and you got your cross-dressing costume going. So you don't need to wear any high heels or stockings. It's easy. It's easy for cross-dressers and people with selective pronouns.
So you got all in one. You just use the burqa for everything.
Yeah.
Weddings.
Well, you do have to have a 9-year-old kid to be allowed to walk outside. But I don't know if it's fun to cross-dress in a burqa indoors. Not my cup of tea.
All right. So your parents were from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
They have you in the Soviet Union because of all this conflict with the war. Very interesting story, by the way. And then what happened? When did you came to the Netherlands?
Well, that was the first war when I was born. That was the Soviets being in Afghanistan. And then we had a short period of a democratic government, and both my parents were building up a life. They were working, my mother was teaching, and so when I was 5 years old, the Taliban, before that, they did commit strikes, try to blow up government buildings and schools and stuff like that. But then they officially declared a war and started a bombing campaign through the major cities of Afghanistan. And then we decided to flee, and we went to Pakistan. And after that, through all kind of countries, we ended up in the Netherlands.
Wow, that's a huge adventure.
Luckily, I had a child's mind, so I regarded it as such. But
for your parents, I guess it was very
it was
traumatic and a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, you lose everything basically. It's very indiscriminate. It's random because nobody knows where the bombs will go, who will be targeted, who will fall victim, because they were bombing anything, not only military targets. So our house got bombed, so we were lucky not to be at home. And for kids, if you don't see extreme violence, you are kind of in the blind, because you see the rockets and the bombs, but it's if you're really naive and childlike, if you're 5 years old like I was, you might not be able to distinguish it from New Year's fireworks. So that's why the Dutch do that. They do the New Year's fireworks, so we
you guys feel comfortable.
Yeah, we feel comfortable, yes. But luckily, we didn't have to go through the Mediterranean on those boats, because that's, of course, extremely dangerous. We went mostly through land.
Yeah, because a lot of people first come through North Africa in boats to like Italy, Spain, and
Greece.
Then maybe they go more north, but they start there, right?
Yeah.
And those trips are really dangerous because a lot of people die. They get drowned.
Way too many people on one boat, and the boats are, of course, cheap, rubbery quality. And there's the danger of regular ships passing and capsizing them. They don't see those boats, so it's really extremely dangerous. And drowning might be one of the worst ways of dying. And 15 years ago, there was this picture of a child that got
That was in the
land
short.
came
Yeah,
ashore.
it was famous.
It was famous, and you'd think that something will change, but it's getting worse.
Yeah, but also because smugglers don't care about
No.
lives; they care about money. So
The
they put a lot
smugglers
of
don't
people in
care
the
for
boat.
them, but the Europeans don't care for them at all either. People get arrested for attempting to cross the Mediterranean. And Greece, for example, arrests the refugees by blaming them for being smugglers. Well, they're not the smugglers. The smugglers, no way that they will get in the boat because they know how dangerous it is. Like you said, it's for the money. But then some poor chap, escaping from war and ends up in a Greek prison for the rest of his life. The Greek government uses it as a deterrent, but the only way to prevent refugees from coming here is to not fund any wars like we are doing in Gaza or we're doing in Sudan. There's European and American guns being shot there, So if you want fewer refugees, you should have fewer guns. That
Fewer
usually
wars.
have fewer wars.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. And so when your family came here to the Netherlands, what was the status that they came from? Did they have like a legal passport, or it was more like an asylum seeker?
No, I
situation?
think like many refugees, there are 110 million refugees in the world. It will be one of the biggest populations of the world. We were stateless because my parents were a member of the Democratic Party, so they would have been targeted by the Taliban as an enemy of the state. So we would be dead if we stayed there.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any nationality to go with. So when we arrived to the Netherlands, we were like status holder that you're holding a status. Status of what? No idea. You're not allowed to work. You're not allowed to do jack shit. Static status. You're a Schrodinger's human, actually. And it used to be 5 years to become naturalized.
Yeah.
And now it's 10 years. But yeah, soon after after you arrive to the country, you have to go through a judicial process of being legal, and then when you're legal, you're allowed to stay in this country, start to work. You have to take language courses, go to school, etc. And after a while, you get the Dutch nationality. And so I am an official Dutch citizen.
Nice. And are you a proud Dutch person? Do you like the Netherlands? You're more like you have contradictions.
It's
feelings.
like every country has its perks, but I love the Dutch directness because I don't care about my feelings either. No, it's a lot of people here are very open-minded and free thinking, and I do enjoy that, especially
nice.
in Amsterdam, and that really helps me also professionally because in my shows I talk about subjects that racism, colonialism, all the fun stuff. So if it was tough at the beginning when I started doing comedy to turn an idea into a joke, so a lot of people did get offended.
Okay.
But now I fine-tuned the material enough that I can get away with saying the worst thing about anybody in the world. So I can't get cancelled.
Yeah, I talk about that in the last episode
with Fritz.
With Fritz,
Yeah.
We talk about how, for example, when somebody gets political into entertainment, it can segregate your public. Because some people might find you funny, but then if they don't match with your political view, then they started to say, maybe I will go to another place, So that's a difficult situation to be. But yeah, some people like to be political when they do entertainment.
Well, I think first of all, it's already you want your own audience. You don't want... that depends also on the artist, but I want people who can at least comprehend stuff that's going on in the world, and I'm not trying to pick a political topic, but a factual situation as is, and use that as a joke. So not about a certain politician or right wing or left wing, but something that actually happened. Because right wing and left wing are the same sides of a bird that's called capitalism. So even the most left-wing political parties in most European countries, except Scandinavia, they're more social democratic. They are still for the whole exchange system of stock exchange and investments and monopolization. They still support all the big companies. So left and right wing is not really a political language to follow. It's more the haves and the have-nots that decide what's going on in the world.
Yeah. So I have never seen your show, at least that I remember, because I saw a lot of comedians. But I don't
I hope you have never seen my show, so it's not because you didn't remember.
No, of course. But for what I'm understanding, you don't do politics in your show. You just point out some political issue and you make fun of it.
Yeah.
Which I think is nice. That's very entertaining, yeah. What would you say is the most difficult thing about being a comedian?
It's also really personal. What are you in it for? Like it can be, some people think, I know comedians still get nervous. So that can be a thing.
I will be super nervous, to be honest. Yeah, I'm a person who, when I speak on public, I get a little bit nervous. I can do it, of course, but I get a little bit nervous. It's not like my biggest asset, I would say.
Yeah. Some people, you can also get used to it, because I really got nervous at the beginning, but slowly you understand the atmosphere. You've also experienced all kinds of things going wrong, so yeah, you know how to anticipate it. But there are still people who are jittery, shaking before they get on stage, and then they're on stage and you don't notice, because of course some switch turns on when you get on stage. But there are still very experienced comedians who get nervous. Unfortunately, finding material is too easy in these days, so that's not really a challenge.
Yeah.
Keeping up with
the Kardashians.
Also, I hope it's canceled by now. I don't know how much there is to keep up with them. So you have to also stay sharp and keep yourself growing. Because, of course, like any profession, you get better the more you do it, but you also have to be active in trying to improve, like trying to find different ways to tell a joke, or subjects that you normally never talk about. So you have to keep yourself going. And it's mostly at night. So it's, it has to suit your lifestyle to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday away from your family, and then tell jokes to complete strangers and hope that they don't have tomatoes on them. No, but it is, if you have a sober sense of reality and you are prone to criticism, then it's not such a tough. It's just you have to do it a lot, like any other job, and it's a lot of fun to do. It's amazingly fun to do.
Yeah, and I imagine that also you make a lot of connections, you make a lot of friends in this world.
Yes. Also because they have the same thing. They are away from their families and loved ones in the evenings. And most people in comedy, especially if you get longer into it, have a high sense of empathy, because you have to connect with the audience. The audience feels if you're not in the room with them.
Yeah.
So when a comedian just copy pastes his set and just go, hey everybody, la 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 la, maybe some jokes land, but the audience doesn't reply, because the whole thing is that you have to be present with the audience. You have to feel what they feel. So yeah, most comedians are also very social people, even though you would think otherwise if you hear them on stage.
Yeah, no, I think they're very social. Every time that I spoke with a comedian, they seem very social, very outgoing, very fun.
Yeah,
And
they
I
hope
guess,
that you buy a ticket.
yeah, always.
Yeah.
Always. But where I was going with this, yeah, like you have to create a persona, you know.
Yeah.
Some might play the card of like the outgoing guy who drinks a lot, has fun. Maybe other one will make the nerd jokes, will be more like the nerd. Everybody has like a character that all of those characters like make you laugh in different ways. What would you say is your character? Because you study psychology.
Sociology.
Sociology.
Yeah.
Are you already a sociologist or you're studying?
I graduated from the University of Amsterdam, but I never wanted to do it professionally. It was pure for myself to learn how the world dysfunctions. You know?
And is your character has something to do with this, or no? It's completely different.
No, I have basically two characters because sometimes I'm presenting and sometimes I'm performing, and I am trying to bring them together because when I'm presenting I like to be a fumbly idiot who because I do a lot of interaction, and then if somebody says something weird I pretend that I believe it, so that that's like in improv you always hear that you have to say yes and that you have to continue with the story that's created, but that's also with interaction with the audience. So if I ask somebody like, hey, what do you do for a living, and then they say I'm a theater reviewer, I have to pretend that's true. So I say, oh shit, and I pretend to run away, you know. From the perspective of performing, my character, I don't want to say all-knowing, but the idea is that I have all the information and I'm sharing it with the audience. And usually it's about society, and I'm not a molecular biologist, so I don't know stuff about that. But I try to do that without coming over as arrogant. So it's kind of two completely different characters that I'm switching between.
And when did you start in comedy?
Well, I did some open mics when I was studying, but I never made anything out of it. And like 7-ish years ago, I decided to go for it because there was a festival and they were looking for a comedian, for cabaretiers, like they call in Dutch. It's more theatrical. And I ended up in the finals. I thought, that's
in the finals. Wow.
Yeah, it was a really small festival, but still, it did.
But that boosts your auto-esteem. Wow, I went to the final. People like me.
Well, you then realize, well, maybe there's something for me that works, because I always had ideas. I was always writing, but never doing anything with it. So I decided, like, okay, let's see how I can become a professional in this field. And I participated in some other festivals, and I made it to 5 finals. One was a really big festival, but I've never won any of those festivals. So I'm the biggest loser in comedy, in cabaret in the Netherlands.
I mean, going to five finals is already impressive.
And there's always somebody else beating me. Yeah.
But that is interesting. Like, how do judges set who win based on what?
Well, of course, it's like any art, it's completely subjective, but there are skills involved. And if you're beyond a certain skill level, then the difference are negligent and pure opinion. So if somebody else wins the finals than me, I'm fine with that, because at least I know what my level at that moment was. And it's also it's not a competition per se. It always helps to say that you reached the finals or you won something commercially, but in the end, you have to get better for yourself and your audience. So that's usually like, shit, I didn't win it, but you get a tour the country when you reach a final, and
that's nice.
That way you get a lot of audience, and that's actually what you're doing it for, because it's between you and your audience. And Yeah, you also with music awards doesn't make any sense. Comedy awards don't make any sense either. Like one person decides what's funny or not.
Yeah. What else can we talk about? So,
The Flaming Wars, the guy online on
yeah,
Facebook. Yeah.
maybe we can talk about that. You had a hater or something like that?
Well, I use social media only for promotion to share my shows, and it is designed to make everybody hate each other. That's how Mark Zuckerberg got so fucking rich. So you'll have an article there's a suggestion thing in your wall, and before that, a friend of mine is Congolese, and her grandfather was brutally slaughtered by Belgians, and I read an article about that one of the murderers was still alive. He's in his 90s, so it's not even that far back. And he still keeps a tooth of his victim as a souvenir. And
who's this guy that has a big
a Belgian guy who was sent to Congo to cause hell?
But how old is he now?
He's in his 90s. So he's one of the few who's still alive from that brigade. And the guy, the Congolese guy, Patrice, I forgot his last name, but he was, I think, a major political figure. So, of course, they would, humiliate him as far as possible. I don't know if your podcast is up for war crimes, but that's what we're
committed. Yeah, we can talk about
it. So they murdered him, put him in a shallow grave, then they dug him up again and chopped him in pieces and used pieces as souvenirs among the so-called soldiers.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, Belgium has done, a lot of Western European countries are still doing horrible things, but they pretend colonialism is in the past. It still exists. It's only privatized. It's now companies like Shell from the Netherlands in Nigeria stealing their oil, or Nestle stealing drinking water. But then I saw a post of somebody saying that refugees are being treated as shit in Europe. We talked about it a couple of minutes ago. And somebody said, well, they shouldn't come here. And I saw the name. It sounded Belgium. I said, the Congolese shouldn't have allowed you guys come here because you did a real number on them. Sometimes they pretend that we are doing here what they were doing there. But if Europeans never stole anything from anybody, we wouldn't need to come here in the first place. But somebody responded to me, go back to your mama's hut, or, we've built cathedrals here and you guys are living in dirt. And without us, the Africans wouldn't even have invented the wheel. The wheel was invented in what we call now Iraq. So it's true without, but then one of the guys, we really got back and forth, and then he started to make spelling mistakes, and it's funny for me to make fun of Belgians not being able to speak Dutch. And I said, wow, you even stole your languages from other countries.
Oh, so the conversation was in Dutch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that escalated, and then after
Flemish.
So I was just, first, I was pissed off that somebody would say something, and I know better. You should not engage with those discussions. And after a while, it was actually funny because for me, it's also I know joke writing, so I know how to respond to people saying whatever, plus the facts are on my side. So after a while, he got really pissed off. At least it looked from the conversation. You can never see how people really feel like. So I thought, you know what? End this here, and I went to his Facebook profile and I clicked add friend, and then I messaged him hey dude, let's not get carried away with this bullshit. We can have a beer over, you can even have free tickets to my show and we'll laugh about it. I'm sure we'll have a completely different conversation. And then he said, "Oh yeah, fine. I was just trolling, and yeah, it was fun. But he also stopped the whole flame wars. And then he said, like, oh, when are you? I live there." And I said, "Oh, next month I'll be actually in a town there." And he said, like, "Oh no, I would like to buy tickets to support the arts." I'm like, "Oh no, I insist. It's fine. 2 tickets, free tickets." He said, "Well, no, but I really want to pay." I said, "Okay, cool. But then the beer is on me." So yeah, I'm curious. I think he's gonna come to my show with 12 friends and baseball bats and teach me a lesson. But yeah, so
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like I think social media has been one of the biggest troubles that we have had in politics in the last decades.
There's a lot of hate, right, in social media.
Yeah. Division, hate, you don't, well, everything is nuanced. I mean, of course, except the Nazis, because they actually want to kill people. But most opinions you can explain, you can talk, you can understand each other's points of view. For example, I am vaccinated also for COVID, and there were a lot of people anti-vax, but there were also people who genuinely had first-hand experience with the vaccine being hurtful to one of their family members. Statistically, it's of course insignificant compared to how many people died from COVID and how suddenly everything went open because everybody got vaccinated. But for that person, one experience is all the experience they need to form an opinion. But instead of that, we were all calling each other, "Oh, you're a bunch of sheep, you're vaccinating yourself with 5G microchips, etc."
Yeah, so it makes you autistic. A lot of people would say that.
Yeah, that started in the 90s by
I think there's a lot of conspiracy theories related to that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with all of that. I do think like a lot of the vaccines might create problems on some people. Obviously, you got millions of people in the world.
Yeah. Of course, some people
10,000
will react
take
badly.
the vaccine, nothing happened. Once take it, sure, it can happen that somebody has a bad reaction, of course.
I mean, the diseases are way worse, of course, because also they spread. But the guy who, Andrew Wakefield, was a British doctor from the 90s, and he invested in a vaccine that was, I forgot what the specifics were, but there was a general vaccine for 3 or 4 different diseases. And he invested it in another one that was for 1 or 2 diseases. Well, long story short, he said that one specific vaccine that he was competing against causes autism through something that happens in your guts, influences your brain. So a whole cock and bull story just because he wanted to make money out of the vaccine that he was selling. And that story from this grifter became into a general idea that all vaccines cause autism, and now the Minister of Health of the United States is also one of those people, and that's why you have measles outbreak in America, because fewer and fewer people are vaccinated against measles.
Sorry, what is measles?
Measles is the disease where you get a lot of red dots on you, all over you, and I think it's mostly lethal for adults, but children can get really ill as well.
So supposedly the vaccines will create that.
No, the vaccines cure that.
Oh, cure that.
But now, because fewer and fewer people are vaccinating their children, there are outbreaks in the United States and also more and more here in Europe.
Yeah.
And everybody thought we eradicated that disease, but it's making a comeback, like the Nazis.
I think there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there because of the internet.
Yeah, they help spread those as well. Yeah.
So there's a line there that I don't know if we should cross, because in one place there is like, okay, conspiracy theories can create harm.
Yeah.
If they are a conspiracy theory, not all. Like somebody says, the Earth is flat. Remember that? That doesn't hurt anybody. It says, okay, you're stupid or whatever. But it doesn't hurt people. It's not like people will jump out of the hurt.
They won't walk off the flat earth and fall down.
Yeah,
well, it does create a general sense of anti-science, which is harmful because that's why people don't trust vaccines or whatever. And there is also a huge imbalance between actual real conspiracies. Like the most blatant example is the inauguration of Donald Trump, where you see all the big tech bros next to each other. They all paid generously to Trump. A lot of other billionaires paid generously for the campaign in exchange for favors. So there is a conspiracy, but it's the extremely wealthy against the rest of the human population. And there is a huge problem with the vaccine as well, because those pharmaceutical companies are all
they make a lot of
maniacs.
money.
I mean, the whole drug epidemic in the United States, oxycodone, that was purposefully made because they wanted to sell more oxycodone. But with the COVID vaccine, it should have been something nationalized. Nobody should make profit over healthcare. That's sick. That's weird. Like you would become rich because somebody suffers. That's beyond any morality, but it's the most normal thing in the world. So you can be really skeptical. You can look into depth what's going on, who's profiting from what. But the whole idea of faking the moon landing, or what you gave the example of flat Earth, is like, why? Like, I mean, the whole moon landing, there were thousands of people involved, and by now, I mean, decades later, somebody would have told the story.
Well, for example, when it comes to the landing in the moon, that supposedly it was fake.
Stanley Kubrick directed it.
They say, well, the reason why they will fake this is because there was a war against the Soviet Union and USA, kind of like war.
Yeah, the space race.
The Cold War, to see who was more like influential, what country.
But you can also think a little bit further. Even in that context, it kind of bites itself in the ass, because Soviets and vice versa, a lot of spies. So if the moon landing was fake, one of the Soviet spies would have found out, and the Soviet Union would immediately put it on all banners, all stations, like, that's look, we have proof, you know. Yeah.
That's
that's what you also wanted to go to.
Exactly. Like they say, oh well, this was a conspiracy and I can prove it, and they say because they wanted to show that they were better than the Soviet Union, that we went faster to the moon.
Yeah.
And then you say like that, what you just said, like
but the Soviets would have evidence that it was fake.
Who will complain first? The Soviet Union, who say, no, this guy didn't beat us. Yeah, they faked it, but they never did it. Why? Because it's true. Obviously.
Yeah, and they had Andrei Tarkovsky, who's a very talented movie director as well. So why didn't they fake the moon landing? And also the Soviet Union won on something that it was like the first man on space. Yuri Gagarin. He was the first. And they had the first dog in space as well. Poor little fuck.
But he didn't come back.
No, Laika. They just bonjoured the poor little fucker. It was also a stray dog.
They say actually that there was never a plan to bring him back.
No. I was like, it's just a dog. We don't care.
I guess the Soviet Union, because it was a dictatorship, they have less moral boundaries when it comes to things like that.
Well, it's on the surface level. I mean, in my experience, the liberal democracy in the West has a lot of social freedoms, which are also always being interrogated. But from the point of power, it is easy to dwell into complete violence. I mean, World War II, what's going on in the United States right now, what's going on in the UK with Palestine Action, which was a movement against a war. So, and they are branded just like that. Within one meeting, the UK government branded them as a terrorist organization, and whoever supports them Once again, they are pacifists who want to end a genocide in Gaza. But they are being called terrorists. And anybody who holds a sign with saying, I oppose genocide, can get arrested. And there are people right now having a hunger strike because they are not getting any due process like you are by law. You have the right to attorney. You have the right to an honest judge who will look at the case. But they didn't get anything. They just got shipped to a prison and called terrorists. So it's not even that far away. I mean, it's right across the North Sea, you know, and also the Netherlands is trying to limit the liberties you have as when you're demonstrating. So it's not a given that just because we are a democracy, we have more freedoms. We still have to be vigilant, and we still have to fight for those freedoms.
Yeah, I mean, things can change any moment. Yeah. Like there's a lot of examples of countries that they were democratic.
Yeah, recently
and then they
Turkey
became into
and Hungary, for example.
Yeah, then they became dictatorships. Yeah. One that I can think of is Iran, for example. But going back to
Iran wasn't a democracy before the Islamic Revolution.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It was a monarchy. It was the Shah was friends with the West, and basically United Kingdom and the United States could do anything. They had a democratically elected government in, I think, 1953 or 55, and then an insurgency from the United States kicked out the Democrats because they wanted to nationalize their oil. And then they installed the Shah of Iran. What was his name? But in 1979, there was a public revolt, mostly by students, against the Shah because, of course, he was an autocrat. And in that vacuum, the theocrats, so autocrat is like what person has power, but theocrat is like theos, God. So they follow the rules of, in this case, their own perverted version of Islam. That's how they got power. That was in 1979, and they're still in power, unfortunately. But if you want a true democracy in a country, you leave them be. You know, you don't kill their democratic government like they did all over South America. Like in 1973, Salvador Allende was also murdered in a military coup staged by the United States. So I think they're so into saying that socialism is bad, then let it collapse in itself, you know, instead of murdering a democratically elected president.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. Yeah. I personally don't like much socialism and communism. But I do think that if it's bad, it should collapse by itself.
Yeah, let it be, you know.
Yeah, and not intervene, because when they intervene, it's not so much because they want to help people, it's more because they have business there to do.
And they want to say, you see, it doesn't work. But if you let it flourish, it can work. Countries like Cuba have been embargoed to poverty. It's not because of their system, it's because they're being punished. And it's a system that has been used since Haiti became the first independent country because of a slave uprising. And now it's one of the poorest countries because the moment they liberated themselves, all Western countries basically put them in a quarantine. And as a nation, you can't function without other nations. So,
But going back to comedy.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a heckler? You know what a heckler is?
All the time, especially in Amsterdam with English shows. There's a lot of people a little bit tipsy,
crazy,
a couple of beers too many. But you have to get used to that as well. I had one.
How do you respond to that?
If it's really annoying, you will start with jokes, and after a while, you will actually ask them to leave. And if not, then you make them. But this one time, there was a drunk English guy.
It's always a British guy.
Well,
I don't want to discriminate.
I had also Irish. I love the Irish more than many other countries because they never colonized anybody. They were colonized themselves, so they don't have institutional racism in Ireland. It's fantastic. But this English guy was calling. I don't even know what he was saying. He was. I said like, oh, where are you from? And he said England. I said, oh, you must be pro Brexit. He said, hell yeah. I said, I'm also pro Brexit because now I can tell you to go back to where you come from.
Ooh, what did he say about that?
He was too quiet because everybody was, of course, shouting and laughing and clapping. But after my set, he kind of fell asleep. And then there was a comedian from India, who made fun of the British, like, hey, they came to India, they took all our spices, but they never got the instructions. What are you taking all the spices for? So she did, I think, 15 minutes just pointing at that guy and laughing at him. So unfortunately, he fell asleep and he wouldn't learn anything from it.
He fall asleep. That's crazy.
Yeah,
why would you pay?
Okay,
yeah. Because why would you pay a ticket to a place and then fall asleep?
Yeah.
Except if you took drugs or alcohol.
Yeah, I also had once at a show. I saw the comedian looking at somebody in the front line, and he said, "What the hell? Are you sleeping?" And he woke up, and I heard after the show from the people like, yeah, he was pulling an all-nighter, and we had these tickets. So he thought like, yeah, fuck it, I'm still gonna come. But he was so exhausted from partying all night the night before and not sleeping. It happens, yeah.
Because some people come to Amsterdam with that mentality. I'm just gonna drink a lot, take drugs,
weed,
and then they end up like this. They end up in a corner, almost dead.
Yeah, panicking.
Or in a hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really don't find any sense on being a heckler because you're technically going to a show. First of all, if you go into somebody's show, you should know how he thinks a little bit to see if he's your kind of humor or not. Yeah. So that's the first thing. Okay, you didn't do your research and you went still to the show and you don't agree with the guy. Why saying something? Like you're technically arguing with somebody who's a professional arguer.
Yeah, it comes from multiple sides because I also had people I think you should be allowed to joke about everything as long as the context is morally not reprehensible. But people don't know that when you go to a comedy show, you actually sign a contract that says you can joke about anything, and if you're offended, then you're in the wrong place. And the weird thing is, politicians say the weirdest, damnedest, evil things, but they don't get canceled. Well, what they say actually has influence. We only have like a couple of hundred people in a room tops, but they will actually come after the show and call me racist and sexist and all kinds of shit. I had a white Dutch woman in her 40s said, I hate your jokes about Moroccans. My husband is Moroccan. And the husband was just passing by next to her. I didn't hear this. And he came to me and said, oh, hey, nice show, man. Like, what? Like, why are you offended? And the guy I was supposedly making fun of liked it. Like,
Karen, basically.
Yeah. But overprotective, white savior complex.
Yeah, that's when you know that person is toxic.
They don't reflect, or they don't step out of the situation to see what's going on. I mean, well, maybe it's good intentions, but the context is more important than your intentions. The road to hell is paved by good intentions. I don't know who said that, but
I heard that before also. Yeah. Any stories more that you have with hecklers that you can remember, or any funny story related to a comedy show?
Yeah, it's like a blur because it happens so often. Well, this one time it was at the camping, and I'm never doing those shows again. But like those Dutch campings in the summer. They organize events for the people staying there, and I was there at a comedy show where they had this the store action party tent that you can buy for $10. It's I think 3x3, and they had it over the audience. And I knew it was going to rain because I live in the Netherlands. Yeah. It was cloudy already, but on the stage was also the equipment. The sound,
the audio interface, or the mixer,
everything. And it started to drizzle And I was like, shit, what are we going to do? So I pulled the tent out and put it on the stage to keep the stuff of the stage dry. And, well, there was nobody there yet, but I reacted fast enough to save the equipment. But I think maybe half an hour later, when it stopped raining, audience came in, and there was one lady in the front who commented after each joke as a reviewer, like, this one was not so bad. The previous one I hated. And the next, I continue. Because they didn't pay for a ticket. It was just random people coming.
Oh.
Yeah. And after the show, she came to me like, I didn't like your jokes, but I think you're a decent young man. I was like, well, thank you.
How old was she?
Try to, I think maybe in her 60s.
Yeah,
a
sounds
Dutch
like
lady at camping, like sleeping in a bungalow and all that.
Yeah. Well, we're reaching the end of the show. We did 1 hour.
All right.
Anything that you want to say to end? Like, you can, for example, promote yourself.
Yes, of course. Well, I'm doing a Dutch tour, so any Dutch listeners, go to Instagram, my website, buy tickets. There will be jokes, stories, songs, the whole shebang. And I had a thought that I wanted to share today, but
also, how can
I think I left it home.
How can people follow you on social media?
Hermes Ahmadi. Hermes, like the expensive bags, and Ahmadi, like the guy stealing them. AHMADI. That's my Instagram handle, and if you put .com, you get to the website.
Well, it was incredible to have you.
Thank you. It was fun to be here.
Thanks to all the people that watch the show, that support the show, that gives likes. We're gonna bring more people as long as I can, as long as I find more people that want to come. And for now, that is all. I wish everybody a very good day, night, whatever it is in the time that you're watching this. And that's everything for me. So, goodbye.
Ciao,
Ciao.
Bella.